Hi everyone, my name is Ren from Quicksave Interactive. In this tutorial, we will be discussing the transform properties within the UI editor. Now, we've already gone through positioning and sizing of UI elements within the UI editor, but in this tutorial, we will be looking at the more advanced transform features, including pivots, skew, scale, and angle. Let's dive into the UI editor and find out more. In the UI editor, I've set up a basic layout with a simple white box which we will use to demonstrate these transform properties. In our Node Properties panel, we have this transform section which contains these properties. Let's start with the angle property. If we set the angle property to 0, we have our default box in its current state. Let's set it to 45 degrees, which will rotate the box by 45 degrees. If we set it to 90, it will rotate it to 90 degrees, and 180 will make the box upside down. Let's set it back to 0 for now. Skew will skew our box on the X and Y axis. Let's set this to 10 to have a slight skew on the X axis. And if we set it to 10 on Y, it is now skewed on the Y axis. We can do both by set varying degrees of value. So we can have a different shape entirely. Now for scale. Scale is pretty self-explanatory. It will control the size of the box based on a percentage value, and we can set this on both the X and Y axes. Let's set this to 0.5, and now it's half its original scale on the X axis. We can also set this one to 2, and now it's twice the original size on the Y axis. And of course, we can't forget about the alpha property as well, which takes a value from 0 to 1. We can set this to 0.4, and now the alpha makes the box slightly transparent. Last, we have pivot. By default, our pivot is set to the center of the box. The pivot property allows us to set our pivot point or anchor of our visual element. So I can set this X value to 1, for example, and then if we were to change the angle, again to 45 degrees, the angle will pivot along the pivot point we have set. So it is no longer pivoting on the center, but rather on this edge of the box. We can do the same with the y-axis value of the pivot, and now the pivot point is in this lower right-hand corner. Setting the angle will shift the box according to that lower right-hand corner. If we were to change the skew, it will also use the pivot point as well. And the same also applies to the scale. The transform properties are a powerful feature of the UI editor when it comes to shaping, positioning, and sizing of your visual elements. We highly encourage you to experiment with the transform properties when creating your layout's visual elements. We also highly recommend that you subscribe to the Quicksave YouTube channel and stay up to date with our tools website where you can find more tutorials just like this. Thank you for watching. See you again next time.